We welcome in now our NBA analyst, Tim Doyle, to break down this thriller. Tim, this had to be one of the best finishes of this series so far.
Well, it had to be the most impressive win of the postseason. You know, I was trying to think about that before we went on and talked about it. What the Grizzlies did against the T-Wolves, they were down nearly 30 points. They came back and won that game on the road. But this series was essentially over. I mean, you win Game 5, you're winning at over an 80% clip in a series. And Boston was up, Sherry, 14 points in the fourth quarter. This game's over until all of a sudden it wasn't. Bobby Portis was outstanding off the bench. He just gives you that energy, that effort, those big old eyeballs, and he just found the basketball on this play. And this is playoff basketball. It's not always necessarily pretty. The bench was electric. And just think about all the key plays down the stretch. They were made by the Bucks. You know, Al Horford dunks that ball home, and you think, wow, Boston's going to end up winning this game. Instead, it's the Bucks that end the game on an 11-2 run. Giannis made a big three. Drew Holiday made a big three. I thought the defensive play he made was even bigger, throwing the ball off Marcus Smart. This was really just like a gutsy win where one team has won an NBA championship and the other team hasn't.
Do you see a difference in the way that Milwaukee was playing tonight that, as you said, they were able to overcome that 14-point late deficit?
You know, when you have Giannis, I just think there's a belief that you always have a chance. You know, and I said pregame, like when Giannis shoots a three as a defender, you're like, yes, he's shooting a three. Well, he made an enormous one in this game. And we remember last year, Sherry, when we were watching him in the finals at the free throw line, it was painful. It was almost embarrassing. And instead, he went to the line, calmly sank one when they were down two, and then obviously the Bobby Portis rebound. But the energy, the effort, the enthusiasm, the motor, second to none. 40 points tonight, 11 rebounds. He has to shoot the ball so many times because no Chris Middleton, but he just figures out a way. I mean, this series felt like, you know, Boston had all the momentum after the dramatic Game 4 win in Milwaukee, and now Giannis gets a chance to go home on Friday night. Sherry, I live in Chicago. I'm only about an hour away. I think I'm grabbing Chicago Joe. We're heading up there.
Oh my gosh. Can I fly back to Chicago and carpool up with you guys? That sounds like fun. Well, also, we got to mention Giannis was literally bleeding from his eyebrow in this game. No denying his toughness or grit. But let's talk about the other side. Jason Tatum, another big game, 34 points. How can you explain the level that the Celtics are taking their game to and maybe explain that late slip?
You know, I think that when Al Horford had that dramatic dunk, there was a moment of like, oh, all right, let's say we're going to win this game. And, you know, it's like when you get a lead in football and you're just like, all right, let's just run the ball into the line of scrimmage. Like, let's just keep running the ball into, like, you got to keep playing. You got to keep getting first downs. You got to keep trying to score the basketball. I thought the possessions they had was like, very similar to what we see in college basketball when a team gets a lead and they're like, oh no, let's just dribble it down to 4 and then take a horrible shot. And that was the rhythm that Boston got into late where Milwaukee was playing do or die situation. Like, let's make something happen. Let's drive to the basket. Let's get paint touches. And Boston was like, oh, wait, when's the clock going to run out? Like, you can't play like that. And when you do, and then you give a guy a ball like Jason Tatum and then, you know, everybody watches him. There's nothing harder in basketball than trying to score when literally no one is moving and everybody is watching you. I just thought Boston thought this was like cruise control, like, oh, we got this. We're 14 in the fourth. We're up 6 down the stretch. Instead, Milwaukee played with that, like, never say die championship attitude. It just makes me think of, like, Rudy Tomjanovich, like, never underestimate the heart of a champion. This win was not pretty by the Bucks. It was all heart.
A win is a win is a win. Tim, this game, Game 6, is going back to Milwaukee. Milwaukee looking to close this series out. Like you said, they're on their home floor. You and Chicago Joe will hopefully be in the stands. How do you see this next game going? Or maybe 2? I mean, can the Celtics bounce back?
Yes, I think the Celtics can bounce back because I believe the Celtics have more talent. Obviously, they don't have Giannis, but they have more, quote-unquote, other guys, right? You got Jaylen Brown. You have a Marcus Smart who made some enormous shots. You know, Al Horford wasn't the Al Horford we saw in Milwaukee. He came back to earth a little bit. But I thought that they got other contributions off the bench. Tice played a very strong role. it's almost impossible to predict what's going to happen because you felt like Milwaukee was in control in game number 4, and you certainly felt like Boston was in control in game number 5. But this one stings because if you win this game, you're Boston, you basically have a free game in Milwaukee. All right, lose that game. Now you got to go home for game 7. Now you lose in Milwaukee, it is over. So, like, you know, they lost their wiggle room in that spot. I still think they're going to win this series. I picked them before the series, but that was a gut-wrenching win. And Sherry, I had them on the money line in my parlay minus 220 the Celtics. Why'd you do that to me?
Oh, that was a tough one for your wallet for the Celtics. But Tim Doyle, we always appreciate your insight. Thank you.
Thanks.
This is one of the more entertaining series this postseason. Can you believe it? Milwaukee up 3-2. This entertaining win at TD Garden. You have it here, Game 6, Boston at Milwaukee, time TBD. Then we do have that Game 7 if necessary.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.